With the eagerly anticipated next mainline Silent Hill entry ever since its teaser in October of 2022, we've finally been revealed what Silent Hill F is all about. The recent Silent Hill transmission brought about a 30 to 40 minute presentation detailing the story, characters, gameplay, and development focusing on Silent Hill F. For today, I want to discuss what was shown in the reveal trailer to speculate and analyze important details to expect, and what's yet to come before the eventual release of Silent Hill F. As the trailer begins, we get an overhead shot of the main protagonist, Shimizu Hanako, as she's seen crying on her knees while surrounded by red flowers. The red flowers were previously seen in the teaser trailer for Silent Hill F, where it appeared to be a recurring motif seen in much of the environment, seen as this form of corruption that spreads across the town. The red flowers are known as Lycoris radiata, alternatively called red spider lilies, a Japanese flower which is used as a practice to steer insects away as the flowers contain poisonous properties, such as toxins. What's interesting about the flower is that it's commonly associated with death in Japanese culture, seen as a belief that it guides the soul to the afterlife to move on from its past life and look towards reincarnation. This is an important narrative and symbolic device that holds lots of merit when it comes to the themes of death and moving on, as it closely associates with Hanako, seeing as her friend makes a comment shortly after saying, "You're lying. Aren't you, Shu? You really think you can fool Hanako? Hanako's dead, okay?" This then transitions to then Hanako and her friend group together as they chat amongst each other. The friend then makes a comment saying, "Friends don't last forever. They will betray you eventually, just as they say you betrayed them." What's important about this line is that it coincides with the themes of friendship, especially a friendship cherished in our youth. Something that we hold with lots of emotion and love amongst those we cherish in our day-to-day lives. However, as we grow older, friends tend to often drift apart and move on with their lives. This sentiment is further cemented by not only Hanako's friend's comment, but also the idea of betrayal as a brutal, harsh reality that friendships break apart, and sometimes it's out of our control. Interestingly, Hanako's character bio comments on how she struggles under pressure due to the expectations of her parents, friends, and society. We then get to see a glimpse of the fog world seeping into Hanako's hometown of Ibi-Sugooka. The fog world is typically seen previously in the Silent Hill games as a parallel world to the real world that pulls the user into a space between reality and a supernatural phenomenon, which sees the world become a nightmare filled with monsters. Hanako then eventually encounters one of the monsters roaming in her hometown. While we don't have a name of this monster per se, this monster seems to closely resemble features of a mannequin and moves in a doll-like manner. If you listen closely, you can hear sounds that emulate that of an old wooden toy in its movement. While on the topic of the monsters, it's important to note that the series' monster designer, Masahiro Ito, won't be returning for Silent Hill F when it comes to producing the monster designs. Instead, creature and character designer, Kira, will be put to the task of designing much of the character and monster designs in Silent Hill F. Upon this encounter with the monster, Hanako proceeds to run away to see the red flowers once again, following her wherever she runs off to. In the flashing images that show various frames of the red flowers, such as it sprouting and blossoming from the ground, we see a quick frame of a monster that looks like a doll, presumably one of the many monsters seen in-game. Afterward, we get a shot of Hanako equipped with a pipe, an iconic melee weapon seen throughout the series that seems to have a far more substantial role as it's commonly seen throughout the trailer and the promotional material for Silent Hill F. During this scene, we see the other world, also confirmed by the producer, Motoi Okamoto, referred to as the Dark Shrine, dissipate into the fog world. Another important detail is when Hanako gets headaches when we see these shifts between the fog world to the other world. While this could be a coincidence, the protagonist of Silent Hill 3, Heather Mason, is also seen getting headaches when those shifts happened. Headaches for Heather were used as a tool, narratively speaking, to forward the plot as she gets flashbacks of her previous life that she tries to remember and piece together throughout the game. It's possible that Hanako could potentially have headaches that have her see a vision of her past or a distant memory that she's trying to remember. We then see Hanako exploring what appears to be a Buddhist temple. Typically, in Japanese culture, they are very fond of practices of Buddhism when it comes to praising a higher deity and a place of worship, often serving as a center for Buddhist ceremonies and rituals. Seeing Hanako exploring these temples give merit to the possibility that there could potentially be some cult-like practices influenced by the Order, the main religious cult seen throughout the series, somehow indoctrinating their practices to other countries from the town of Silent Hill. Or this potentially could serve as a separate cult faction entirely, especially after seeing this symbol here in the shrine room. Interestingly, it looks very similar to the Hail of the Sun, Later, we see more of the monster designs, such as this monster here, which seems to adopt attire that is of a school uniform, similar to Hanako and her friends, albeit with the same doll-like quality seen earlier with the other monsters in the trailer. We once again see more of the red flowers spread throughout the environment. We then get a frame of Hanako walking in defeat till she turns around quickly to find another monster, with multiple manipulated doll heads accompanied by more doll arms and legs. This shot here shows Hanako once again equipped with a pike as she walks slowly with a headache. After, we then see what appears to be one of the monsters in-game. If we pause the frame, it shows a split second of the monster in question, which looks massive in size as it towers over Hanako. Hanako is then seen entering a location filled with the aforementioned red flowers, shifting to the next scene to what looks like rotting food at a dining table. This emphasis on decay could be connected to the abundance of the red flowers, having this overwhelming effect of producing toxins and poison throughout Hanako's hometown, which plays heavily into the themes of death. We then get this really interesting shot here, which shows a shadow of seemingly Hanako spreading out a tendril-like appendage from her body. This can be connected to one of the final shots seen in the trailer, where if we look closely, Hanako's back has multiple wounds that have holes protruding from her body. It isn't out of the question for Hanako to have these horrific physical changes to her appearance, as we see half of her face peel off. As to what exactly is happening to her physically, it's hard to tell, but it could be in relation to the red flowers having a physical and psychological effect on her. Once again, we see Hanako have headaches that agonize her, with her being in excruciating pain, lamenting with a comment that has her say, "You took everything. You took everything from me." Hinting that a more significant figure in her life that she personally knows did something to her that left her with emotional and physical pain. One thing worth commenting on is the heavy theme of red. As we see, Hanako is not only covered in blood, but also the emphasis of red flowers that is associated with her. It feels reminiscent to the themes of Silent Hill 3, that being the fear of womanhood. Themes that Heather Mason had to experience when it came to the psychological and physical torment when in the other world. Much of Silent Hill 3 had a very subtle, yet brutal and disturbing depiction of the fears of what a woman has to experience, such as forced pregnancy, abuse, being preyed on upon a stalker, violence, torture, blood, etc. While these themes could coincide with Silent Hill F, specifically with Hanako, it's a bit too early to tell. However, these themes do hold merit, as the warning disclaimer on the Silent Hill F official website states, "This game contains depictions of gender discrimination, child abuse, bullying, drug-induced hallucinations, torture, and graphic violence." In the final moments of the trailer, we then get what appears to be a ceremony with multiple women wearing a Fosk mask, performing a ritual on Hanako, which could be connected to the aforementioned cult-like practices from potentially a cult faction that we have yet to see. Finally, we get the last shot of Hanako's face peeling off, which is originally seen in the teaser trailer of Silent Hill F from 2022. As of this reveal trailer, this is all we have in regards to the most recent and up-to-date news of Silent Hill F. While there were only 3 to 4 minutes of most of the story and characters, we definitely could speculate and theorize much of what potentially is yet to come with the release of Silent Hill F. But I'm curious as to what you guys think so far with what we've seen of Silent Hill F. Do you like what you see? Are you interested in the themes, story, characters, and art direction this game is adopting? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Anyways, that's me. Thank you for watching, please have a great day, stay safe, and goodbye.